Back here on the Cover 3 podcast, live on CBS Sports Network, day 2 of Big Ten Media Days at Indianapolis, Lucas Oil Stadium. Pleased to be joined at the desk by USC quarterback Miller Moss. Miller, what a tremendous lead-in to your 2024 season with your record-setting bowl performance. Do you think that you can recall all 6 touchdowns from the Holiday Bowl?
Yeah, first of all, thank you so much for having me on. I appreciate it. I definitely could.
Yeah, it's a great game.
I definitely could. But I can recall a lot of plays, so it's not specific to those. I don't want to get it twisted.
Okay.
So this is obviously your first time at Big Ten Media Days. USC is bringing it in. It's going to be your first time going into the season as a starter.
Yes, sir.
How has your preparation this offseason been different than what you might have been doing last year when, with Caleb around, you knew you weren't going to be the starter?
Right. I think when it comes to my preparation, I think as an individual, I think it's been the same. I think I try to prepare the same way no matter what, try to be consistent in my work, and I feel like I've done a good job in doing so. I think as a leader and as someone whose job it is to bring the team together, I think that's where it's really been different. So as part of the leadership group of the team, it falls upon myself as well as some of the other guys to bring the team together, to establish the team's identity. I think that's where my role has been different than previous years.
I'm sure you've been asked this question a lot, but what did you learn from watching Caleb?
A lot. I think if I could pick one thing, it would just be his absolute confidence in who he was as a player. As you know, that's so pivotal in playing the quarterback position, and whether he threw for 605 touchdowns or he threw a pick or had a bad practice, he was the same guy every single day, and that confidence he had in himself as a player never faltered. So that was really cool to see, and it's definitely something that I try to take on going forward as well.
You talk about the leadership group trying to establish the identity.
Yes, sir.
What is the identity of USC football in 2024?
Right. Yeah, I think it's a team that's really selfless and puts the team before the individual. And I think that sounds really nice, and that's what we've really tried to build, but ultimately that gets tested in your biggest moments of adversity. So I'm excited to see how that foundation we've built fares in those moments.
What was it like, we mentioned you spent the last couple of years behind Caleb on the depth chart.
Right.
Caleb won a Heisman. He was the first pick in the draft.
Yes, sir.
But there was also speculation in the offseason, even after your bowl game, that USC was going to be active in the transfer portal for a quarterback. How big of a confidence boost was it for you that Lincoln and the coaching staff said, no, we don't need to go out and find a quarterback in the portal. We have our guy in Miller Moss.
Yeah, I think it was a huge confidence boost. Obviously, I'd had extensive conversations with Coach Riley about, my position and my standing, not only leading up to really leading up to the bowl game. But I think the biggest thing for me in that time was not to worry about speculation or what could possibly happen, but to worry about getting prepared to go play a football game. And I think I did my best to drown out the noise or whatever narrative may be circulating the team and really just go play. And I think it's a good lesson in general to kind of ignore whatever narrative may be out there and just go take care of business, and hopefully things will work out. Not to say they'll always work out like that, but I think if you don't do that, then you're not giving yourself a chance to succeed in the first place.
So you won't be throwing 6 touchdowns every game?
I definitely plan on throwing some more touchdowns. But yeah, that was obviously not just for me, but for the entire team to have a difficult back half of our season that was somewhat disappointing, and then really come together for a common goal and go perform in the way that we did, not only the offense but the defense as well, really stepping up, I think was huge for our team and showed us a lot about what we could do in coming together, and that really springboarded us into the next offseason.
One of the issues for your guys' team the last couple of years has been the defense, right? You guys go out and get a new defensive coordinator. There's nobody to help us preview it than you, who you got to face them in the spring game.
Right.
And I know they had some success. I remember looking at it, and it was like, all right, did the quarterback struggle, or was it more about the defense? So you tell us, give us a little scouting report of what we can expect, because there's a lot of excitement about what D'Anton Lynn brings there to USC.
Yeah, absolutely. I think in going against Coach Lynn, it's really made me better and forced me to be better as a quarterback. I think you kind of understand his NFL pedigree and background in going against him, and that you have to continue to make the next right decision against whatever he presents you, because if you don't and you try to take risks and you try to gamble, he'll make you pay for that. So, obviously the spring game was a good preview. I hope we can continue to have that much success on defense, and I'm sure we will. Obviously, you don't really know until you get into a game, but I'm really excited about what I've seen so far and excited about that group going forward.
Have you played College Football 25, the video game?
I have.
Okay, all right, let's get in.
Of course.
Are we Road to Glory? Are we Dynasty?
Dynasty.
Okay, who's your squad?
I started a Dynasty with Bowling Green.
Yes, there we go. That's a good pick.
Yeah, so one of my really good friends did Akron because his dad played there, and then one of my other really good friends did Coastal Carolina. So I was like, all right, like I'm going with Bowling Green, and it's been fun so far. You know, the rebuild's the most fun part.
Yep.
Like when you're winning national championships, then it's like, all right, I got to get a new job.
Right.
But it's been fun.
Are you old, like the passing game? I haven't played. I'm the only one on here who's not a gamer. But the one thing I've heard is how complicated the passing game is. As a quarterback, have you been able to figure out the new passing style?
Yeah, I think my settings are just on like traditional.
Classic.
Yeah,
I think a lot of people are doing that.
Yeah, I'm really liking him with every
Yeah.
single answer more and more.
So yeah, we don't try to overcomplicate it. It's more about where the ball goes, you know,
Yeah.
not like how many buttons you press when you throw it to him. So I don't know. I'm not a huge gamer either, so that would probably be a disadvantage for me if I was doing some complex passing.
It's called a video game. We're supposed to have fun.
Yeah,
you know,
right, exactly.
If we've got USC's quarterback saying, you know, traditional's the way to go, it's definitely the way to go. So have you checked out your own like rankings and ratings? We've got some connects at EA Sports. Is there any adjustments that need to be made when the new patches and updates come out?
I was honestly very impressed. Like they had my wrist tape, they had the towel, like the helmet was right. I was very impressed with like the visuals of it. Started off as an 85. I don't think that's bad, but I mean, like, it's not about where you start; it's where you finish. You know.
Yeah,
Which I think is one of the coolest things that they're actually going to upgrade.
Yeah, that's awesome.
The
Yeah,
rankings
absolutely.
throughout the season.
But yeah, I mean, aside from all the like, it was very easy to get obviously caught up in what your personal ranking is. But I mean, I played that game growing up. I played Road to Glory, and like, obviously before I was recruited at all, like, got all the scholarships and went different places. So just to be part of the revival of that game is really, really cool.
Are you excited to go to the Big House on September 21st? What is that? What's that going to make you feel? You say you're a college football fan growing up. What excites you about that?
Yeah, so I mean, I went there during recruiting, and it was empty. So I'm really excited to see what that looks like when it's full of 110,000. Maybe we'll have like 4 or 5 for us, but but when it's full of 110,000 people, I'm really excited for that environment.
Yeah, it's very loud. I'm just trying to think, you know, you're going on the road to Michigan, but you're also starting the season in Vegas against LSU.
Yes, sir.
Like, how are we feeling about ourselves going? I mean, obviously, we've still got to go through camp. We've still got some time, but that's a huge game to start the season. It's kind of a statement kind of game, I think, for both programs.
Right.
What are you looking at when you look at LSU as the one thing that you think is going to be the biggest challenge, and what do you think is something that you can is maybe your best strength in that game?
Yeah, absolutely. Like you said, I think that's kind of the game. Like, those are the kind of games that you come to USC to play for. So I think we have a locker room that embraces that and is really excited for that opportunity. When it comes to them, obviously they're a very quality opponent. I think the most difficult thing for us is obviously they have a new defensive staff, so we have no film of the previous year of their defense. So that's going to be the biggest struggle, and I think there are definitely some opportunities for us offensively, but we understand that we're facing a quality opponent and really excited for that opportunity.
Who are you excited to throw to this year? I mean, you got to say them all. I know you're going to take a politically correct answer as a quarterback, but who maybe that we haven't seen? Anybody younger talent we don't know about?
Yeah, I think one guy that's not necessarily getting a lot of ink and is going to really surprise people is Mekhi Lemon. He was forced to play DB for us. I think practiced 2 weeks and ended up on the field against Oregon playing defensive back after doing the entire offseason as a receiver. So really just a football guy to his core. Phenomenal route runner, really attacks defensive backs. And it's just really a phenomenal dude and hard worker, so I'm really excited to see what he's able to do.
He didn't say Zach Branch.
Yeah, I mean, like,
I was going to say, just get the ball to Zach.
Trying to shed some light on it.
No. We really do appreciate the insight. He is Miller Moss, quarterback for the USC Trojans. We will see you on CBS September 21st for that game at Michigan. Miller, thank you so much for spending some time with us here on the Cover 3 podcast.
Yes, sir. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Coming up on the other side, we've still got visits scheduled from UCLA coach Deshaun Foster and Penn State coach James Franklin. We'll get into all that and more next.